Hi, Melinda. How you doing? I've got your letterhead sketches, and I'm also looking at um, your envelopes and your business cards. And I think you've got some really smart ideas going on here. I think that it's very smart. The page mechanics of your letterhead itself, I think, is on every example is very good. And I say that because you're really utilizing a good working space of the letterhead, making it very versatile. So in other words, you have your logo up top here, and then you have your contact information at the bottom, and that leaves this whole area wide open for really a nice versatile letterhead. So I think you've done a really good job there. I'm looking at a couple of your other a couple of your iterations. Things like this I think are kind of straying off course a little bit for the meaning of the actual encoded meaning that we've been working on. It seems like a couple of these are kind of random design decisions. So, but there's one thing I really like. It's this first example. I think it's super clean with the color bars across the top and the bottom. I don't think it's really impeding the ability of the open space and the airness of the letterhead itself, and I don't think it's really confining anything. So I think it's a good idea. And taking that forward, I just want to make a quick comment on the actual contact information. The contact information itself, okay, if you're going red and black for your colors, or that dark brown we talked about, if you're going red and dark brown, I wouldn't, definitely don't bleed the color off the edge of the page. Just make sure that those two horizontal stripes are away from the top of the page. I think that you're indicating that here, but that's really important. And then what you can do at the bottom is you can take those actual bars, those color bars themselves, you can actually put the contact information right in there in white. And I think that would be a really neat way to go. As far as the contact information yourself, I think it's a great idea to keep at the bottom of the page. But the contact information, I would recommend using the return address, don't forget your zip code, and then the email, the URL website, and the fax number and the telephone number. And I think that those components are really necessary in a return address or the contact information for a letterhead. So those would be my recommendations there. I definitely think this is your strongest in terms of page mechanics and presentation, as well as visual, as well as technical presentation. So if we follow that cue, we come down and we take a look at the envelopes, and here's the corresponding envelope for that. And again, it's really a good idea to keep that consistent with the letterhead itself. Now, you can put your return address here as well, and sometimes that's a good idea. Another thing that's a really cool idea is to design the front of the envelope just like your letterhead. So you have the color bars across the top and the bottom, just like you're showing here. You have your logo right there. And then on the back of the envelope, where that part folds down like that, where it's the glue flap, and you can put your contact information on there, your return address on there. So, and that's a really neat way to go. But as far as consistency goes, I would recommend staying with that same type of visual language that you've created in the letterhead. Business card, same thing right here. But the thing with the business card is that you want to follow the same mechanics that you've set up in the letterhead and the envelope. So in other words, yes, logo upper left corner. So logo upper left corner. Okay, then assemble your contact information, however you want to typographically compose that. Okay, so those would be my recommendations. I think you've done a really good job. Good thinking, Melinda. Very good thinking. I love the consistency. I love the presentation. And you've done a fantastic job. If you have any questions, comments, or other, please let me know. I'll be glad to clarify. Okay? Thank you, Melinda.